the cloud.
Woo!
All right. Fantastic. So we've already got 40 some folks on. I'm sure some folks will join us live in MLO Network. We appreciate your time. We don't want to suck up 50, 60 minutes and give you zero value. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to talk fast. These guys talk fast. But today, our most important message is quite simply this. If you bring in loans, if you have the ability to self-source business and constantly have applications coming through your door, no matter what happens with your company, you will have options in this industry. You will have a job. And so as a loan originator, broker, whatever the heck you want to call yourself, that is your number one priority. Bring in good, clean loans that are going to close and get them into the system. So that's most of what I wanted to say. I want you guys to talk about the things that you see, the things that you coach people on, the things that you two talk about behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff that is so relevant in what some of these LOs are just completely missing on the opportunity that's still out there. I mean, like, man, I heard this year we're going to have maybe the third or fourth best year of loan production total for the history of loan production ever. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I need to make you guys co-hosts. And
we're good.
Yeah, you guys talk enough. So Scott, you talk for a minute and then you just give Khai a second, but jump right into talking about production. Okay.
Oh yeah. And by the way, to be clear, when Khai and I talk behind the scenes, it's only about guns and firearms. So we never actually talk about the mortgage industry. So this will be
great. All the Dems just signed off.
Yeah. It's over. It's over. All my liberal friends are gone.
Well, you know what? Honestly, off the cuff conversations are better because I don't think it needs to be on a topic. I just think it needs to be on what the hell is going on right now and what are our thought processes, right? Here's what I know when it comes to statistics. I think the industry is down 35-40% in volume, right? Compared to last year. So obviously a good chunk of that is refinances. But here's what I also know. I know people that are the same or better than this year. I'm sorry, it's opposite. I know people that are like 30 to 40%. If you think about 30-40%, that's not really a lot. It's not. If you're doing 10 units a month and you're still doing 7 units a month, that's still pretty good. If you're doing 5 units a month, you're down to 4, sometimes 3. It's still pretty good. The problem is that some people that are used to doing 10 are down to 3. Some people that are used to doing 5 are down to 1. That is more than 35-40%. So if they're worse than 35 to 40% down, why is the average 35 to 40% down? That means that some people are doing the same or better. That means that some people are coming in the industry. And so I always ask myself, and I see my entire roster. My top 10 clients are still doing 25. I think one of my clients put up 44 units last month. So what are the successful people doing? The thing is that the industry is going to go like this. And if you follow it, you're nothing more than the average. As a matter of fact, if you actually try to follow that trend, you're actually going to lag behind it and actually be lower every single time. When the industry is low, you're going to be even lower. And when the industry is high, you're going to be even lower. Does that make sense? So I think what's important is that you have this business plan, this goal in your head that puts you in this upward trajectory that you're going to go where you want to go, which involves intentional planning, intentional go-getting, right? Scott, I mean, that's a lot of what you and I talk about every single day. It's like creating a plan, creating the metrics, and executing. You got to be better than the average.
I agree, man. And there's this concept in gambling. You know, my second home now is up in Henderson, Nevada, so I have a lot of gambling references. There's this concept in gambling where like it always hurts more to lose $20 than it feels good to win $20. And you know, depending on how you like to gamble, add a 0 or 2 zeros to that. And there's an actual psychological theory of like it's hard to walk away from the blackjack table because let's say you start with $1,000. and you run it up to $2,000 and then you lose $200. So now you're at $1,500. You're still at a net positive gambling win of $800. It's hard for humans to get up from the table because they're like, well, I was just up $2,000. Let me chase getting back to that $2,000 mark. And that's the psychology and the psyche that I think we need to manage against, where it's like, yeah, one time in the last 2 years, I did 19 loans in 1 month. That doesn't mean I'm a 19 loan a month producer. It means, we work in a high cost area where I can do $10 million a month in loans at about 11 or 12 units. That's kind of where our team wants to be. I can't get down on myself or frustrated at myself, frustrated my team, or get psychologically vulnerable and weak because I'm not hitting that high point over and over again. It's like, go back to the daily activities, go back to the things that work, and like, don't stress about where you were, where you could have been, who's doing what, I should have done this. It's just daily activities and like preserving your mental health. That's a lot of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, you got to protect your confidence, but have a bigger game plan. I mean, for the long term, I think a lot of you. So Scott, how many years have you been in the business?
Going on 22.
22. So does it feel like 22 or does it feel like 1 month, 284 times, right? Or 200?
No, it's definitely 1 month, 284
right,
times.
Right.
It's
like, what I'm saying is that if you're in the industry and it feels like you just have 1 month over and over and over and over again, you're not really following a long-term game plan. You're doing a short-term game plan over and over and over again. And that's what frustrates loan officers. You have to have a long-term game plan. So what does a long-term game plan include? It includes developing into a market. For example, you say, well, I'm in this local market. I want to develop into that market, which is I want to target certain real estate agents. I want to target certain target markets because I also want to go after non-real estate agents like attorneys, financial planners, estate attorneys, living trusts, divorce attorneys. I also want to maybe build a team, which is going to involve training, development. I may want to build a branch. I want to build recruiting. You want to look at yourself 5 years from now and not just see your production go up, because production comes and goes. You want to look at your business 1 year, 3 years, 5 years from now and say, what did I build along the way? Because what you build along the way is what's going to bring in that business. Did you build a team? Did you build a CRM? Did you build marketing strategies? Did you build different demographics when it comes to referral partners? Did you build your sales skills? Did you go to places where you upped your speaking skills? Did you build a social media presence? Do you now have 50,000 followers in this area? When I see somebody who's been in the business for 20 years and they have like 500 people in their database, I say, what did you build? You just kept chasing the money. You kept chasing the money over and over and over again, which starts with the daily activities, right? Which does that. But I mean, the question is, and I don't know, when we do this chat, is it a public chat?
You can do everyone. Yeah.
Does it fire off? I'm just wondering if we can see the chat, right? Because I'm curious, I look at especially people's databases. That's the first thing. If I have to talk about anything, it's people's databases. When I got into the industry, I try to talk to 2 people a day, which is 10 people a week, which is like 40 people a month. So it was 500 people in a year. If you've been in the business for 5 years, you should have 2,500 people in your database. If you've been in the business for 10 years, you should have 5,000 people in your database. Like, why is that important? Well, number one, the average consumer gets a new loan every 5 years. That means 1/5 of your database gets a loan every year. You have 1,000 people in your database after 2 years, 200 will get a loan this year. I mean, I want everybody to think about how many years have you been in the industry, and then multiply that by 500, and is your database that size? And know that 1/5, 20% of that database is getting a loan this year with or without you, right? So if you have 3,000 people in your database, that means 10 people a day you're getting a loan today. It's just not with you, right? So you have to manage that database. You build a
Does that
database.
include like $10,000 equity lines? I mean, I'm just.
It's just loans. It's just loans. The average person gets a loan every 7 years. I mean, gets 7 loans over the lifetime too, because it's over a 35-year span every 5 years. So what if the dude rate shopped you and they went someplace else? You have 6 more chances. Or what about that refinance that you kind of did a refinance for? And I asked them, would you ever do purchase business? They're like, well, I mostly purchase business. I don't really know how to I started in refinance. I don't really do purchase business. And it's like, well, call the borrower and say, I know I didn't do your purchase loan, but who was your realtor? Did you really love them? Could you introduce them to me? Because I want to do your next purchase loan too. There's so much. I mean, if I had to start with something, is that 20% of your database will do a loan this year. If you had a 50% conversion, you should be doing a 10% pull through every single year. You have 2,000 people in your database, that's an automatic 200 loans.
So what if it's a new LO that's watching data that literally only has one person in their database or 10 people in their database or what have you?
I call bullshit. I call bullshit on anybody. I don't care if you're brand new. This is my favorite exercise to do. You just go to your little iPhone, which Khai used to make fun of me because I was a Droid guy, but I did switch to iPhone about 5 years ago. You go to your contacts tab and you go all the way down past the little hashtag, otherwise known as the pound sign to some of you guys. And it'll tell you at the bottom of your phone, I have 13,966 contacts. Now, that's because, like Khai said, on January 1st, 2014, I got neurotic about databasing. So right now, referral sources, realtors, financial planners, and lawyers, I have 1,867. And clients who have got referred to me, many of which told us to F off, I'm never doing a loan with you again, but they're in my database. I have 5,456. So, just shy of 7,000 people in the database, like Khai said I should, since 2014. But if you don't have that, go to the bottom of your phone, and the lowest number I've ever seen of any coaching client I've talked to is 358. So everybody, and that was literally a girl who was just getting out of high school and coming into the mortgage industry because of the fact that her mom was an underwriter. Most people in their phone have around 1,000 contacts. And
brand newly licensed. You have, these 350 people, right?
For sure.
Then add your Facebook network, your IG network, your TikTok followers, your LinkedIn's.
Yeah, you got 2,000 people. I tell clients all the time, hey, okay, you're brand new. You can't really afford to sign up for coaching. Start with the A's and just call everybody with no judgment. I don't care if it's the stepdad of your ex-girlfriend who married your cousin or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's some dude you bought a bike from on Craigslist 3 years ago. No judgment, go through, start in the A's, start calling everybody and saying, hey man, just want to let you know I'm in the mortgage industry. I'm always here as a resource if you or anybody you know is looking to buy, sell, or refinance a house. Just that simple. Just have that conversation. I've never had anybody take that seriously and get past the letter M, because they end up generating so many leads in business and conversations. They actually get busy as a loan officer and they don't go back. And that's the letter M. And it's crazy to me how many people we know. I feel lazy every time I have one of these conversations because I'm like, well, in addition to coaching, I should just be calling all 13,000 people on my phone and we'd probably get another 100 units this year. But
how many of those people there? And how many people in your phone are over 25 years old that could qualify for a mortgage and be a homeowner, right?
For sure.
It's a lot.
For sure.
Like good old fashioned call nights. Like we started doing those. We're like, oh, come on. No one wants to do that. This is old school call night. And the next thing you know, everyone's like, wow, I got a loan. I only talked to like 6 people and I got a loan. Like, wow, reaching out and touching people and telling them that you're good at loans matters. I'm just going to take the con for a second here because somebody reached out to me last night and they're like, oh yeah, Mike, I live right next to this military base, but I don't do VA loans, but I want to. And I got to get good at them first. I'm like, okay, I got a network that can help you. We'll talk about that. And then, okay, but what I really need to know is how to run ads and how to target the vets and all that. And I was like, look, man, first off, you don't want to target them because you target a veteran, they're going to shoot back. I'm just telling you, don't do that, man. Just don't. I'm like, just attract them. And I said, well, the best thing to do really is like, you just told me you've been an LO for like 5 or 6 years. Why don't you talk to everybody you know and just tell them you're really good at VA loans and ask them if they know any veterans. Start there. Oh, yeah. I know some veterans. I'll tell every single realtor that you're really good at VA loans and maybe go into their office and teach them just a little bit or offer them some value instead of trying to recreate the wheel with like this, I'm going to create something that's going to compete with, for example, like a Veterans United. I'm going to go play in their space. I'm going to get all these ads. I'm going to go on this path and spend all this money, time, and energy. When, like Scott said, I've already got 7,000 people on my phone that I know. They don't know I'm good at VA loans. They don't know that I like doing them. They just know me because they're in my phone because I haven't told them anything. So I don't even have a message out there to those people. Like I got no why behind what I do. I got no message. I got no personal brand. I'm just a guy. And, some of the people that we see are like, oh, look at me. I got a brand. I got a logo. I'm educating people. And it's not just VA loans. I mean, like all over the country, you see these influencers in the LO space that are building their own brands. Like I watch Denise Donahue all the time, Mortgage Nerd. Like that's her brand. Her whole entire phone knows and all her social media knows and all her Instagram knows that that's her brand. So it's like we have so many opportunities out there that we don't think about for marketing. it's insane. And then, like you said, Scott, now you go down this path and you start calling and you get all this stuff. Then I find a lot of LOs come back to me like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Should I go talk to Sky or Khai? Because I'm overwhelmed. Like I can't balance my day. So when somebody breaks through that, like I'm a new LO, I didn't have enough people to talk to. Now I'm having conversations left and right, but I can't keep track of it all. What do you guys do next? Like, what do you tell them to do? Let's start with you, Scott.
Well, the first thing is I talk to LOs like Khai does every day who are doing 1 loan a month and loan officers that are doing 40 loans a month. And to talk to them, they're the same amount of stressed. They're doing the same amount of hours at the office. They're taking the same amount of phone calls in the evening or the weekend. They're working the same amount of hours. So it's like, all right, do you want to have all that work and all that stress to do 1 loan a month and make $2,500? Or do you want to do 20 loans a month and make $75,000 a month? It is, I promise you, I have had times in my career where doing 1 loan a month was very satisfying because I could pay my rent. And I've had times in my career when I made, 6+ figures in a month. And it's the same fucking work. It's the same amount of stress. So like find someone like Khai, find someone like myself who can help you with the systemization of it, because it's the same amount of work. And it's crazy. And this is going back to the old school Gary Keller. Like, you show me somebody's calendar and I will show you what's important. Before Keller Williams was the biggest brokerage on the planet, I had the benefit of going to a few of his trainings back when Washington Mutual was like trying to sponsor Keller Williams, whatever. And he would literally call people up on stage with their old school day planner. He'd be like, so what's your problem? Oh, well, my husband and I aren't getting along really well. He's like, cool, show me where date night is scheduled. And same thing, next person comes up. Hey, I'm having a problem with like lead generation. I'm not getting any listings. He's like, cool, show me on your day planner and your calendar where you're walking the streets and door knocking. Because like our calendar is just a reflection of our values, right? And so, sometimes when I show people my calendar, they kind of freak out because it's like color coded and it's pretty and it's got a lot of stuff going on. But it's like, I can look at next week and know green time is money making time. Orange time is time when I'm coaching or being coached. Red time is podcast. Blue time is working out. And purple time is family. So I can do a quick once over of next week and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I've got a good balance of things that I want to work on. But anybody who says I'm too busy or I need coaching or whatever the case may be, yeah, see, Khai, I love you, dude. We're the same fucking person. Anybody who says that, my friend. There you go. Anybody who says that they need help or whatnot, the very first thing they need to do is take a serious look at their calendar and see, does the things that you say you're valuing match with your calendar, right? I have a couple coaching clients who desperately want to lose weight and I cannot get them to put health and fitness in their calendar. So guess what? You're going to continue to be fat. And that's okay if that's what you choose to do. Same thing. If you want to be organized, you better have time in your calendar to work on systems, have team meetings, put your lead generation in the schedule. It's like your calendar is an absolute reflection of your values. And anytime somebody tells me they want to do something or they want to accomplish something, but they won't put it in your calendar and stick to it, then I just know that they're full of shit. So anyways, that's my.
So when I coach loan officers, this is an industry thing. So loan officers are divided into 3 categories. I call them level 1, level 2, level 3, right? So level 1s are like your 0 to 100 units a year. Level 2 is your 1 to 200. And then level 3 is your 200 and more a year. And there are very distinct differences. One distinct difference is the size of their operations and their team. So usually 0 to 100, you can find a lot of solos. Maybe they have like a company LOA or something like that helping them. Your 100 to 200, they typically have a small team. And then your 200 more, they typically have a larger team, et cetera. So there is an operational difference. But there's also a sales and marketing difference, which is very, very, very distinct. And if you're trying to go from level 1 to level 2 and level 2 to level 3, here's the distinct difference. On level 1, everybody does sales and marketing on a one-to-one basis. It's one-to-one phone calls, one-to-one meetings, one-to-one conversations. And it always ends there. Okay. You got to do a lot of work. I'm telling you, even if you have a 5,000 person database, I love the idea of calling your database, but if you're calling your database one at a time, you only got so many hours. There's going to be some limitations. Level 2, They start doing one-to-many. They start understanding the power of doing Zoom meetings, office presentations, groups, happy hours, Facebook groups, etc. But here's the real difference between level 3s, your 200 unit producers. They do many to many. And there's two ways to do many to many. One way is to utilize technology more, because if I put out a video, not only does a video go many, but I can take that video and put it many. I can put that video out many times. And so I don't have to go to many groups many times. My video can go out many times without me. But here's what level 3s are really good at, which is many to many. Many to many means that if I know 5,000 people, those 5,000 people are also referring me business and talking to other people about me. We don't ask for enough referrals. If you did 100 loans last year and you didn't get at least 50 to 100 referrals, in other words, if 50 to 75% of those closed clients didn't give you a referral, then what was the point of all the good service when nobody referred you business anyways? The average person that I ask gets about a 20% referral rate, and it's not enough. The referrals weren't asked for, there wasn't a system for, or maybe you weren't as good as you thought you were, but there wasn't that. So you have to create relationships where those relationships lead to somebody else. So Scott, you said, I can look at my phone, even if I'm brand new, and I can have, so I just looked at 1,800 people in my phone book, right? I can be a brand new originator and say, I already have 18 people in my database, but you know who those 18 people know? What's 18 times the 18th power, right? So those 1,800 each know 1,800. So you're asking them for referrals, and you're constantly getting them to think about you and asking for referrals. You want a new realtor? Ask your realtor for a realtor. Ask your title person for a realtor. You want a financial planner? Ask your client for a financial planner. Ask your realtor for a financial planner. A lot of people too, they don't put their realtors in their database. Realtors buy homes. So do title people, they buy homes. Like, the world is so connected. One day I'm 6 degrees away from doing Kevin Bacon's mortgage loan. Like, you have to understand that, right? That's the many to many relationship, is that you're creating. I did an entire class yesterday with my coaching group about financial planners and about divorce attorneys, financial planners, CPAs. And one of my clients said, I've been calling divorce attorneys, but they don't call back. I said, did you call cold? He said, yeah, I got a list of divorce attorneys and I'm calling and nobody's calling back. I said, you have a database of 1,000 people, 55% of them have a divorce attorney. Okay, call, get a referral, and ask for a personal introduction. Way better. Everything should be a personal introduction. Every referral you ever should get should be a personal introduction. Never tell somebody, if you know somebody, have them call me or give me their number. Just say, if you know somebody, can you introduce us via email or text, and let it go from there. That's how you handle referrals. That's how you handle warm things. If you say, do you know a financial planner that I can work with? Or here's another thing too. Every single person needs a living trust or a will. So how many estate attorneys can you go create relationships with? Living trust, will, estate attorneys, whatever you call them, that you can create relationships with, that not only can you refer them business, but they can refer you business. It's two-way street, but do you know one, Scott? Scott, do you know an attorney that I can talk to? Yes. Can you do me a favor? Can you give us a personal introduction so that we know that so that they know that, like, I'm not with this creepy dude trying to sell them. And there's so many connections. And I think what big producers do more than anything is they know how to leverage that repeat business, that referrals, and they spider their network. It's called the many to many. If you get to a point where your phone's just ringing, it's not necessarily because you got some marketing bite out there. It's because people are talking about you. And you got them to talk about you, and you've created friendships, and it's so distinct. It's so distinct, and it's not that hard. It really starts there.
And that business is so much better. It's you're not fighting the uphill battle of, hey, I clicked online and 7 people called me. You're competing against 6 other people. It's so-and-so said, I need to call you. You're the guy. You're the gal, or whatever. So-and-so trusts you. I mean, it's 1,000 times better. 1,000.
It's so funny, Michael. We get in your group all the time, and as coaches, we get asked this question. Well, should I do Zillow long forms or lead pops or Yalopo or whatever? And I'm not picking on them, although Commissions Inc. does seem to be garbage. But they advertise, oh, we have a 2.7% conversion rate instead of a 2.3% conversion rate. And I'm like, all right, let's just step back and think about what that is. If Michael Fisher or Khai McBride said, hey, Scott, we're going to refer you 100 people to take up a half hour of your time who might want to become coaching clients, and 2 of them are going to sign up. My immediate answer would be, fuck you 2, you're no longer my friend. Like, I don't have 98 no's to get to 2 yeses. Whereas if it's a personal referral, you're going to convert 1 out of 2, right? 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, something like that. So, you know, you've been there before, Michael. When I do my keynote speech on lead generation, I have everybody stand up if they have a spouse, a wife, a significant other, a booty call, whatever. And then I say, stay standing if that person has referred you a deal in the last 30 days. And virtually everybody sits down. And I'm like, cool. So you're not even getting referrals from the person you're fucking, and you want to go out and spend $5,000 a month on marketing and, you know, a lead funnel and a click funnel and a this and to have a 2% conversion ratio. How about you just turn the person you're having sex with into a referral source, because your wife or husband is probably going to soccer practice and hockey practice and PTA meetings, and they probably work with 1,800 people at their company who know 1,800 people. And it's like, dude, if you're not, I call it famous with 50, if you're not famous with those core 50 people who are, you know, proselytizing for you and getting you deals, then you're never going to get to the mini to mini stage. And it blows my mind when people who are doing 1 or 2 loans a month go into your Facebook group, Fisher, and they're like, should I buy this system or should I buy this system? And I'm like, how about you just call 10 people? Because that's free.
Yeah, you're right. Because here's another thing. How many purchases have you done in your lifetime? That's how many listing agents you've been in front of in your lifetime and buyer's agents. And so anytime somebody asks me, well, how do I meet a new realtor? I'm like, you couldn't even convert the realtors that you did business with. You know, if you did 100 purchase transactions last year, that was 100 listing agents. Where was the effort in converting them? It's because there's this habit in sales to go on to the next thing instead of realizing, look, in one transaction, you've got a buyer's agent, a listing agent, you have a title rep, you have a buyer, you have a seller, and every single one of them know a divorce attorney, estate planning attorney, a financial planner, a CPA, a life insurance agent, a property and casualty insurance agent. I mean, there's so much business from one transaction, but what do? We close it and we go to the next one. If you actually sat there and you just looked at your last 10 transactions, and I'm going to give you like the magic trick that will get you a referral, that will get you an introduction. It's called my 5-star magic trick. You just ask somebody really simple, how did I do on a scale of 1 to 5 stars in terms of handling this transaction? If they say 4 or 5, you thank them. You say, thank you so much. I work really, really hard to provide 5-star first service to my people so that you have an enjoyable experience. And I would love to deliver that service to your friends and family. Do you have a family or coworker that you know that's about to buy a home? Same script works everything else to the real estate agent. They say 5 stars. They say, great, I work hard on developing a system that provides high-level service to a real estate agent. Do you have a preferred lender? I would love to be that preferred lender. If they tell you no, then you say, that's fine. I want to be your #1 backup lender. Don't say I want to be your #2 lender. Say I want to be your #1 backup lender, because there's always going to be a time that your lender can't handle the transaction, and you're eventually going to be like the side guy, side chick that slides in and like your #1. Do you have a financial planner? On a scale of 1 to 5, how do you like them? If they say 5, you say, great, I'm looking for financial planners for my other clients to work with. Do you mind if you introduce them to me through text or email? Because I would like that introduction. It's the 1 to 5-star magic trick that you can use with anything to get you introduced to anybody and everybody and get a referral from everybody. And that's how you spider your network. There's only 2 things you need to do in business. You need to grow your database and you need to nurture your database. You get a 10% pull through on your database. If you've been in the business for 10 years, you should be doing 500 loans. That's
so
smart.
If you're watching today, ask
sorry.
yourself, how big is your database? What are you getting out of it? What are you doing to build it? I mean, all these questions, Scott, whenever I go to one of your events, it's full of questions. You know, having the LOs ask questions. Like, you just watch Scott and Khai talk for 30 or 40 minutes, but did you ask yourself any questions? Like, you might already be good at asking for the 5-star reviews, asking for the referrals, but you may not be so good at making that big contact list and following up with it. You kind of focus on one transaction, then you just kind of fizzle. So it's getting clear on which parts of this machine you're struggling with. And like I said, if you're like a level 1, you're only closing 1 or 2 loans a month, you probably got to focus on that marketing and database and asking for the business. I was talking to a handful of LOs in my network just a couple of days ago. I was like, look, man, we're sitting here talking about having the best rates and having the best marketing and presenting all that kind of stuff. But guess what? There's a guy out there that's worse than me at marketing. He's worse than me in sales. His products aren't as good as me, but he's out producing the heck out of me just because he has more people in his database. So his marketing message isn't great. He's not good on the phone at closing, but he's touching 10,000 people every month. And I'm only touching maybe 1,000. So he gets more at bats than I do. And he stinks. He can't convert them as well, but he's still out producing me because, again, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. So this breaking down the numbers and understanding at each stage what's going on is super critical. And that's where you guys help people like me all the time realize what those stages are. Like stop, break it down. You're doing good here, but right here you're stuck because you're spending too much time on, getting people into this particular process, but you're not asking for the referral, or your team is not taking over. So you're just getting stuck in the quagmire. So,
and I know people are wondering, well, what do I talk to them about, especially the referral partners? If you take this video because it's being recorded and you make your referral partners read this, you'll make them realize that they're not growing as big as they could. You'll have your referral partners, your realtors go, holy shit, let me look at my phone. I never thought about calling all those people. And you know what? Holy shit, every single one of those people knows somebody that might want to buy a home or somebody that can refer me business to. Realtors are horrible at database marketing. Realtors are horrible at building a database. Show them this and you have every realtor want to work with you. And then they'll give you the database or offer, I'll help you reach out to your database. Every realtor has a 200 to 500 person database and probably 2,000 people on their phone. That's what you need to get to. I have a coaching client licensed for 4 months. She just closed her 6th loan. She did her first one-to-many presentation in front of 10 realtors. She did a seller buy down presentation. And she said, if I can help your buyers get off the fence, showing them seller buy down, they loved it. Then she said, does everybody know 10 people that I can help get off the fence? She had one presentation, was 4th month industry. She had 58 leads. Call them the next day. But from there, those 58 leads, no, another 58 people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just spidering. This is 6 degrees of mortgage Kevin Bacon every single day. And just this concept of loan, your financial planners, your CPAs, they're also looking for business. And, they go out there and they try to peddle mutual funds and life insurance and all that stuff. But are they really asking? Are they asking for business? Are they coming back? Sometimes I'm amazed that my dentist didn't call me back and remind me that I had to come back, because I would have, but I didn't. Then I got a new dentist. You know what I mean? You just got to keep in front of these people. And we haven't even talked about strategy and content yet, because there is strategy and content in terms of talking about the market. You can teach them this, you can teach them that, you can teach them that. But I just find that like people get stuck. And you know what, when it comes to that, Mike, there's a lot of content out there. I mean, in this group and everything, there's so many presentations. I mean, I can give them to you, but if you don't realize who to present it to, especially people in your VMA group, right? You're teaching them such valuable information. And of course, people think, well, how do I find veterans? Man, you know what it takes? It takes 5 veterans to introduce you to 10 veterans. It's like a pyramid scheme, right? Before you know it, like 500 veterans.
We talk about this all the time. Like an LO say like, oh, I just did my first deal with somebody that, was active duty and they were moving across the country. And it was so tricky and I wasn't sure what to do, but it was kind of a cool transaction. And I'd like to do more of those. I'm like, well, did you ask that veteran who else they were PCSing with? Like, did you even think like, hey, you got a bunch of folks that are moving with you, right? Like they need homes too, right? Oh man, I really didn't think of that. Why? Why didn't you think of that?
What's great about the 5-star thing is that, unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't ask for business because they think, well, I'm kind of being salesy and pushy. But the reason why you ask that question is when they say 5, it validates that you deserve that referral. See what I'm saying? When somebody says you were 5 stars and you were great, that's your moment to say, they think I'm good. So if I ask, I'm not bothering them anymore. And that's how that works. And so for all those people that you think, you're too salesy or you don't want to bother them.
So
And Kai, just backing up a step on that, man, I want to give people the permission to ask for the referral because I think if I'm playing, side chair psychologist, I think the reason a lot of people don't do that is because we know what a perfect transaction could look like. And so when something goes sideways and we solve the problem because we're magicians, I think a lot of people are scared to ask that 5-star question because they're like, well, if I'm being honest, the 4506T results came back a little bit late and we could have tightened this up. Like, I know a lot of loan officers who provide 5-star service where they think that the client thinks it was 2-star service. So I just want to give anybody who's watching this permission to be like, hey, man, you're probably better than you think you are. And you're probably solving problems that you think are a big problem and the client doesn't think is a big problem. So they're going to give you a 5-star review when maybe you think it was a 2-star experience because we're too self-critical and self-deprecating of ourselves. Don't be scared, man. The client doesn't know what they don't know. So as long as you close the deal and they got in the house, you're probably going to get a 5-star review. So don't be scared to ask the question.
Right. And on the flip side, you're either learning or you're growing. If somebody tells me that it wasn't that good, great. I want to know. I think a lot of people don't like to face bad news. I think a lot of people don't have the humility to say, can you please tell me where I can improve? Because a lot of loan officers don't put effort into improvement because they never get the feedback. They think that they're better than they are year after year after year instead of, let me get some feedback and let me constantly improve my service. And I just read a great quote by Winston Churchill: never let a good crisis go to waste. You have a bad transaction, you got a bad review, you want to use that to propel yourself into a new idea that would improve your service. One more thing too, don't forget online reviews. Every single person here, if they say 5 stars, you just say, thank you so much. If I just text you a quick link, can you give me like a 2-sentence online review? Tyler Osby, he's a pretty vocal contributor in MLO Net. He's always talking about stuff. I want everybody to Google Tyler Osby. He's north of 1,200 reviews. Let me ask you, if you had to compete against him and your client Googled him, Googled you, who's going to win? Every single person listening to this, get to 100 minimum and then shoot to 300 because that's your internet online credibility as well too. And it's the same thing. You're just building that brand out there. You're building the reputation out there.
Good stuff. So guys, before we get too far here, like we're over a half hour. I know when I go more than 30, 40 minutes, people never watch the replays. They quit tuning in.
Right.
So I just want to make sure we'll throw 1 or 2 more things out there, but I mean, you guys have been sharing some of the most important things from your coaching, and I know enough about you guys to know that some of these things you're throwing out there, I mean, this is literally like the intro to your programs. This is like, the elevator pitch. This is what you get people excited about. And then they get in and they get more than nuts and bolts. So I want to make sure that the folks that are coming here in MLO Net start hearing us come on these calls and say, like, look, if you like what we're doing here, understand MLO Net has been pretty much a free community. We're doing this to make the industry better. Khai and Scott are doing this, for free. Nobody's paying anybody. They're trying to help you, but we do have events that do cost a little bit of money that could help you quite a bit. Where's the best way they could potentially find you, Khai? Do you have like an upcoming event? I know you mentioned you may do something here.
Yeah, I'm going to put this in the link. I do about 2 free coaching sessions twice a month, 3 times a month. I just put the link in the chat. I house up to 15 people. It's a complimentary session, no strings attached. Anybody that wants to go a little bit deeper and join that coaching session, click that link and sign up just to go a little bit deeper. You can also visit my website just to understand a little bit more about my coaching company and what I do. And here's the thing too. I will always teach and I will always give information for free. I don't mind. I don't mind telling every single one of you guys every single trick that I know. What I do for a living, it's kind of like a personal trainer. You can watch every YouTube video of a workout, but you still need a personal trainer to kind of push you through. That's what we do. We push you through. We have mastermind groups. We have things like that. But I'm always going to be available for anybody if they have any questions. You want to DM me, you want to email me, you want to do that stuff. I'll always help. And if you can take some information and run it, great. But if you want to go a little deeper, you want to know what it's like to be coached. You want to know what it's like to be in a community where it's like you're part of like this workout group. I hate using the term CrossFit group, but like a circuit training group where you're really making gains together. that's what I'm about. I put I put my website, and I have 2 complimentary coaching sessions happening this week, so I can fit up to 30 people. I think one on the 24th and one on the 15th.
And I talked to Khai about this. We're going to start promoting these kind of things a little bit more in MLO.net, because again, those are free sessions. You're literally just helping people. There's really no hard sell on any of it. It's just some LOs need that. I've talked to a lot of LOs, come back to me, and they mentioned, names of you and Scott and things like that. And oh my gosh, we found so much value. We don't always hear about those stories, but that's part of the reason we do it, because we like it when those LOs are able to grow and survive and make it in this industry. Okay, Scott, so what do you got? I know you got all kinds of events, you got some webinars. Where would people find out all this cool stuff that you're doing? I think I'm actually going to maybe help you on one of them in November here.
Yeah, we've got a free webinar coming up. A lot of people getting back out to open houses. So we're going to do a free webinar in September about whether or not you're going to host an open house, co-host an open house, pop by an open house, brokers open, Sunday open, public opens. There is a strategic methodology to actually getting out there. And maybe you can post it in the chat box, Fish. I put it in there, but for some reason I can only message you and Khai. I also put it on the Facebook group. So we're just going to do like an hour-long free training first week of September about how to strategically get back to open houses and connecting with people. If you're under 10 deals a month and you've got to do that one-to-one sales, there's nothing better than open houses, but you've got to strategically set it up or you're going to screw up your calendar and your time commitments. So that's one thing we're doing. And then towards the end of the year, November 7th, 8th, 9th, we're doing a digital training. But if you guys sign up for the free training, we'll send you all the information on any like low cost digital stuff we're doing towards the end of the year.
I think, Scott, you already put your contact information. I'm going to put my general contact information too. I'm trying to hit enter. It's not going.
Yeah, it doesn't love us chatting with everybody. So Scott at Scott Grove's team and Khai at KhaiMcbride.com, right?
Yeah. KhaiMcbride.com, Khai at KhaiMcbride.com. If for some reason that fills out quickly or you can't find it, just go to either KhaiMcbride.com, Khai at KhaiMcbride.com, look for Khai McBride on Facebook, Instagram, and just reach out to me just in case you can't make a class or it fills up or the time's wrong. I'm the only Khai McBride in the world. I don't know how many Scott Groves there are, but you can still reach out to me if there's something that I can do for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, last thought, Fish, just telling people, don't take it personally, man. Don't take it personally. There's going to be a lot of stressed out, scared loan officers. There's going to be a lot of stressed out, scared realtors. There's going to be a lot of consumers who, for the very first time, get a HomeBot or a Home IQ or some type of Redfin update that their house is actually worth less for the first time ever in the history of their home ownership. So there's going to be a lot of emotions and a lot of stress over the next 6 months. Throw into the mix monkeypox and an election and all kinds of craziness. And then the fact that, we're fighting over whether or not we're in a recession or not. Just like that scene in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, where the guy's like, so I'm not supposed to get offended if somebody calls my mom a whore, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, is she? Like, just don't get mad. Just it's just a job. Like, don't get emotionally tied and sucked into the drama on Facebook. Don't let your realtors and your clients stress you out. Just do your job, be a professional, educate, and it's going to be okay. But I'm telling everybody, the next 6 months until kind of expectations realign and maybe we see some more price adjustments in a lot of geographical areas, there is going to be a lot of stress. Don't allow it to suck down your psyche, or you're just not going to accomplish the goals you want to accomplish.
Yeah, and I think to tie in on that is like when I go to work, I'm not Khai McBride, the personal person, on weekends per se, right? I'm fairly, people may argue this, but I'm fairly kind of chill and golfer and everything on the weekends. But when it's work, it's game time. And I know some of you are trying to figure out, well, do I call a realtor? And I don't like the way I look on video, and I don't want people to know this about me. It's like, dude, it's your work, it's your career. Just like separate that. You're here to make something of yourself. You're a little bit more of a machine, I guess you can call it. It's like your stage. It's like your stage name. Like I heard, even though I don't like her, I heard Beyonce when she's on stage, Sasha Fierce. That's like her, that's her persona, right? Her double persona, whatever that is. And so it is not whatever your name is. It is not that person doing a video. It's the mortgage professional doing a video. And you need to bounce that off of too when things happen, because that's just like your avatar going out to work for you every single day. And then when you get home, hang it up, spend time with your family, take some personal time with your hobbies and your friends and kids as well.
All right, guys, we had over 100 at one point watching us. I'm dropping your link.
Oh, it's starting to diminish now at 45 minutes.
There we go. Yep. We're hitting that in the numbers. So we appreciate you guys. You can hop off now. There's not much else going on, but we're going to put the links out here again. If you want to reach out to us, this wasn't about sales pitches and any of that kind of things. It's just about trying to help you guys. Feel free to follow us. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to learn more. We appreciate all of you contributing to MLO Network, connecting with each other, helping, being positive, all those kind of things. Thank you again, Scott and Khai, for being leaders. And I think that's it. You guys say like five things and let's go. Like 5 words. That's it. That's all you get. 5 words, Scott.
Just lead generate.
There you go.
Grow your database, nurture it. 5 words.
Go.
All right, guys.
Later, buddies.
Later.
Be
See
excellent.
you, brother.
See each other.
See you, Fish.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.